Tough.
Cool.
It's ready.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you. Colin here, bloody again here. We've been trying to sort out New Zealand's problems, and I'll put on a couple of videos this week or so, but I wanted to put on another one. Now I'll just sort of go along with how I feel. We've been looking at, you see, we'll put it this way. I have got a book called Let's Get Well by Adele Davis. That's where I get at least some of my orthomolecular medicine messages from. And then there's another one, Let's Eat Right to Keep Fit. They're two fantastic books on orthomolecular medicine. And, excuse me, and what I was looking at was, you see, I've been going over them looking for things just lately, Let's Get Well, and I noticed that I've got stuff underlined there, different parts of the book, and it's dilapidated. I've never had a book so much in pieces as this one. I've been reading it so much over the years, and I've had it for years, and it's just in about 4 pieces, and sometimes hard to get the index to find. Or you can get most of the index, but some of it you can't. It's really worn out book. Used it so much, and yet when I've been going back on it just lately, I've been finding places underlined, and yet it's new to me. And I thought, I've had that underlined sort of thing, and I found a piece about glaucomia. I was looking for something about blood clots. I've got a blood clot, and I come across this glaucomia, and that's what I've got too, according to the eye specialist. So now I've got to try and find it again. Now I've got problems with my eyes at the moment, and I can't see with the glasses. So I just have to get the numbers. I can't get the numbers together properly. I can just see 2 numbers, and there's 3, say, there. And I can't, I have to get somebody else to show me that I can find this glaucomia. That was another one, you see. And I was just listening to the eye specialist. He said it was incurable. And now I see Adele Davis said it's not. You got to take salty foods, and also her formula, special formula she makes up of several things. It's good for arthritis too, but you've got to have liver with arthritis, say at least once a week. But anyway, so I'm looking at consolidating position here, because that was years ago, but still, you need to sort of consolidate as I go along, instead of sort of putting everything new on all the time, and try and consolidate our position here, where we're going and what we're doing. Now, at the present time, I can't take even the Westpac Stadium in Wellington on my own, hardly. And if I did, how would I do that? And how would I get the people? How would I get the people come there in the first place? And there's payment for it, there's security, and they gave me security for free. They gave me the stadium for free. How am I going to get the people there? How you got to advertise the people, you see? So what I'm working on at the moment is I want to go back to the Right Honourable Grant Robinson and make another appointment with him. I've been held up with something at the moment. And then also hopefully that he will be able to see Chris Hipkins himself. He'll make an appointment with Chris Hipkins. He's of course the man behind the COVID-19, because this is what we want to wipe out through orthomolecular medicine, as my videos have stated. So, and then there's Andrew Little. He's the Minister of Health. So I sent videos to them, not videos, I sent emails to them specialising, please can I make an appointment. I wasn't looking for a reply to the email, because they get so much emails and things, and they've had different people writing in about healing of COVID-19, probably with things like Epsom salts and maybe garlic and different things like this. So they've probably had this sort of thing before. But at least Facebook put mine on, and I think I was the only person in the entire world that I could get a healing of COVID-19 on Facebook, because nobody's allowed to give a healing on Facebook. One company there or so tried it, and they came down on them like a ton of bricks. They're not allowed anybody to get anything on Facebook on COVID-19. It's out of the question. Come on them like a ton of bricks. But my ones have gone through. I'm probably the only person in the world that can get a healing on Facebook by orthomolecular medicine. I've mentioned about that, and it's gone right through, because my friend who's helping me can find these videos still. All my videos are on Facebook. I'm mainly operating now on YouTube. So we'll have a sort of a recapping here at the moment here. We've got this new strain coming out called Delta, and seeing this big problem we're having in Australia at the moment, and Fiji and other places. In fact, this Delta thing is causing the United States to go back to masks again, and so all the more reason why we need to get orthomolecular medicine going here in New Zealand. So so that's one thing I've got to do, and also another thing that I'm looking at too is to see the reps from the radio stations and the TV stations. So if we can get it on TV, get it on radio, and particularly when I can address the parliamentarians, they're the ones that make the laws of the land. The police only, of course, police the law, and the solicitors, they just do the same. They just sort of police the law. The law comes from the parliamentarians, of course. So after the third reading, it comes. So that abortion thing came after the third reading, and it was still for abortion. So therefore it went and became law. It went to whoever it goes to, and then it becomes law of the land. And so because most of the parliamentarians have voted for abortion, then that's the situation. So so it's the parliamentarians, that's the one. So once I can get to the parliamentarians, then we can get things done what I've been putting on my videos. Like, see, what I want to have a look at today too is, you see, put it this way, there's a couple of guys I've come across just lately, two of them. They said, they don't want to see women as sex objects. Now, I can imagine, as I've said before, I can imagine women saying about men, oh, men, they're so dumb, they don't know what's going on, and dumb they are. Look, let's have a look at this now. As I mentioned some years ago when they had walkie-talkies in Australia, these women were on the beach with their scantily clad clothing, so-called sunbathing, but I say sex bathing. That's what I say. No bloody sunbathing, bullshit. Now, what they were doing, these officials were going around with their walkie-talkies, trying to protect these women with their bikini things on. And finally, the truth came out with one of them, unusually so, when she said to them, look, she said, it's not protection we need, it's exposure. But the trouble is, you see, men are so dumb, they can't see beyond their dumb noses, something staring them in the face. As I've told you, and I'll tell you again and again and again, no doubt, that I can imagine womanhood saying about men, oh, men, they're so dumb, they don't know what's going on, and dumb they are. Men are twisted molecules, and women are twisted molecules. They have a different kind of twisted molecules than men do. Men are dumb, but they also twisted dumbness. Like, for example, I just read, I didn't have my cuttings here, I wasn't going to go into this, but there was a judge just recently, it was in the paper, he was judged because he was getting his 12-year-old girl to get money somehow in relation to sex. I'm not sure whether she's using her as a sort of a prostitute. So I haven't got the article with me. But you see, when you get what shall I say, a judge on the bench having sex problems himself, he will most likely give a higher sentence to somebody who's on sex, because to cover up for his own sex problems. It might not be in every case, but the judges on the bench are human too. They see these girls like they do, dressed like they are, undressed, and it turns them on as well. So they're just ordinary humans too, like anybody else. But you see, some of them will twist it and make out that they're goody-goodies, and so men get high sentencing over sex matters. Like this poor cunt in the Cuban Mall about a few months ago gets 7 years imprisonment for kissing a few women and that. 7 years. And yet I was reading in the paper, I did have my cuttings at home, I didn't expect to be on this today. And one cutting there was just recently, a 16-year-old girl murdered a 90-year-old woman. They went into the house, broke into the house, and she got murdered. Now just imagine the daughter being there, visiting mum at the time, and here right in front of her mother dies, murdered. And so I haven't got the cutting, but it'll be enough to mention about it. So this 16-year-old girl gets 2.5 years for murdering a 90-year-old woman, and this poor cunt here kissing a few women gets 7 years in prison. I mean, and other things that I've read about. Oh, there's another one that comes to mind. As a cutting I had where this reckless motorist went across the footpath or whatever and killed a 5-year-old girl in front of their mother. The child was ahead, and he went on and he killed the child, the 5-year-old child. You saw a photo of the child smiling in the paper, but no more smiles, that child is dead. And the mother said in the article of the paper that every time she closed her eyes, she can see her darling little daughter dead now. The lovely smiles all gone. And so for that, he just got 20 hours community service. He killed this 12-year-old girl with his car, 20 hours community service. He also did get his license cancelled for a year, but that's neither here nor there. He can get the bus, or he can get a bicycle, or he can get someone to take him to work or whatever he's doing. It doesn't mean a thing to lose your license. Goodness me, if this guy that got 7 years, if he had got just 20 hours community service and lost his license, which he wouldn't do but just as an illustration, goodness, he'd be so happy instead of getting 7 years. Now, there was one other thing that this guy got that killed this 5-year-old girl. He got, what shall I say, he had to pay 30,000 in reparation for the death of the child. But you see, although that sounds a big fine, it's really neither here nor there, because you see, his lifestyle will be the same. he's not going to miss even one meal on that. He can get to work, he's not in jail, he's free to go anywhere. They won't take it out on their house, he won't be living in the street and having to pay off money. No, he'll still have the house he's living in, 3 meals a day, and other eating what he wants to do. His lifestyle will be just the same. So they won't take it off him, off that, but it'll just be extras. So it'll just be a paying off thing or something, or he might get a loan and then just pay the loans off. I mean, it's neither here nor there. It's not going to upset his lifestyle. It sounds a lot, but I mean, what is money anyway? I mean, that's not going to bring the child back, nor is a jail sentence going to bring it back. But, I mean, this is what he did. He got 20 hours community service, and what else did he get? Oh, his driver's license gone for only 1 year, so 1 year from now he's back driving again. So that cancelled that one out. The 20 hours community service, that's done, and that can be done in half a week. And the only other thing is the payment of the $30,000, but that's just, he'll just pay that off, or just be loose change, as it were. I mean, his whole lifestyle is just the same. He's not going to jail or anything. He doesn't even have to report. He just has to pay off a fine. Well, he might, if he's got money in the bank, they might take that out. I don't know, but what they do. But I mean, for killing a child, initially just 20 hours community service. I mean, that was sort of the main sort of thing he got in a way. And I mean, and here's this poor cunt in the Cuban War, kissing woman, and gets 7 years imprisonment for it. And they wouldn't have a look at his what do they call it? They wanted to have another look, and they wouldn't have another look. What do they call it? I didn't have the cutting with me. I wasn't going to do this today. What do they call it now? Or another look at them, and they refused it. So he's stuck in jail for 7 years, just kissing a few women. Now, as I mentioned this, I talked to 2 guys about this, and both of them, strangely, were on the woman's side. They said, interfering with their private life, or, kissing a woman. And so when the second one pulled that shit on me about that, I said to him, what would you do if a woman kissed you in the street? And all of a sudden he shot up, just like as though he was in the army, and he was stooping down and say his name was Jackson, say. And so the army sergeant came along and said, "Jackson!" And so he suddenly shot up, shot up and sort of saluted, Well, it was a bit like that. He was sort of lassitude-y and the lassitude state. But when I said that, what would you do if a woman kissed you in the street, or a woman kissed you? More than one, I think I had in mind. And, he suddenly shot up, and he said, he said to me, and he said, I wouldn't say no to that. He didn't say it in those words, but he what shall I say, he didn't say it in those words. He said, like sort of to mean that along that lines. Well, that's been sort of hypocritical. I mean, if a guy can be kissed by a woman and no complaints, it doesn't seem to make sense that a guy kissing some woman, I mean, I just happened to know the guy, didn't know the poor cunt. If they had been working with him and knew the poor cunt, it might have been different. I mean, he just heard the call. I mean, but I'm seeing these comparisons here. I mean, he gets 7 years imprisonment. This is about 6 months or so ago in the Cuban War in Wellington, if you know Wellington. And these other ones get 20 hours community service, was his main offence. That was the one he got. 20 hours community service for killing this 5-year-old girl in front of her mother. She's just ahead of the mother, and the mother saw it happen, and so now her little child is no more. 20 hours community service, just his licence taken from him for a year, nothing really. Where's the problem there? I mean, it's not as if he's going to say, oh, he's not allowed to go to work or something like that. He can get a bus and that. And then the 30,000, I think, reparation thing, that's, again, you see, that's neither here nor there, because his lifestyle will be the same. You know, they're not going to miss any meals. They're not even going to say, well, look, you only got to allow 2 meals a day now. You have to give some from the third meal to pay back your fine, sort of thing. See, so it's neither, I don't really see the sense in the situation. When this guy gets 7 years for kissing women. So I think why it is because, you see, we're looking at men being dumb. As I say, women would say about men, oh, men, so dumb, they don't know what's going on. Okay, that's right. But they got this twisted shit up. Like, I'll give you another example. I mentioned this before on a video, actually. We need to consolidate here. That he was talking to me personally, and he told me that he wants to get into prison, perfectly get into prison, to attack some cunt on some sex problem that he got into prison for. Now, I can't remember if I did know what he meant by attack, whether he meant a verbal attack or or whether he meant a physical attack, quite likely physical, I suppose. I don't know. But, you see, he didn't say to do that with murderers. Oh, murderers, not a problem. Or, so supposing they got this guy, cyber attacker in a hospital. I mean, it's not so bad to cyber attack, or it's bad to cyber attack a business who's making a lot of money, so over $1 million a year or something like that. I mean, it's bad, but it's not as bad as a hospital. I mean, a hospital is the worst thing that somebody could cyber attack. I mean, to me, that's a very low thing to do to a hospital. I mean, that's where life and death can come from a hospital. I mean, people are there, you know, to get well. Some will die if they don't go to hospital. And there's a cyber attack on a hospital here in New Zealand somewhere. I thought it was over in New Zealand, but we looked at the smartphone. I think it was somewhere in the mid North Island somewhere, perhaps around Rotorua way. I think it wasn't Rotorua. It was somewhere Cambridge maybe, or something like that. Somewhere in the centre part of the North Island. Excuse me. Now, so okay, supposing then they got this cunt, cyber attacking a hospital and put him in prison, then he wouldn't be attacking him. I was just on sex. No murders. Oh, there's not a problem with murders. Cyber attacker at a hospital. Oh, not a problem. Somebody that run, like this guy, say that run over, well, he didn't even get prison. He just got 20 hours community service. And as I say, he did lose his licence for 1 year, but then a year later he's got his car back, he's got his licence. They probably won't even sell the car before he pays fine. They might do, but see, 30,000 reparation, see, in a way it doesn't mean a thing, because his lifestyle is just the same, you see. He's unless they do take money out of his bank. But I mean, I'm sure that the guy that got 7 years, I'm sure that he'd be glad to, or even he'd pay 30,000 off himself for kissing a few women. But I mean, that's a big fine to give some poor cunt $30,000 fine for kissing a few women and 20 hours community service. Well, I might say, well, 20 hours community service, well, that's not so bad, but, well, that's just stupid anyway. I mean, only kissing a few women. I mean, if they were concerned bloody about it, they could take a photo of this woman and say, look, this woman's bloody planning to you about, so we better leave her bloody alone. I'll tell you what we'll do. We've taken a photograph of her. here, and any other woman that have been bloody planning, take a photograph of them and say, look, say to this cunt, now look, have a look at these bloody photos now and keep an eye, and make sure you don't kiss any of these bloody women again. I mean, you only just heard the call and obey the call. And try and help the poor cunt, and even in fact the police could walk with him down the Cuba Mall, and a policeman could confront a lady and say, oh, excuse me, ma'am, we've got this poor cunt here, he's been kissing women, and they've been bloody complaining and that. So the poor cunt, he just needs, he's just a stray, he's just like a stray cat, and he was a stray, and I was wondering, maybe if you could look after this poor cunt. He's prepared to go halves with electricity and halves for the food and that. I wonder if you could help this poor cunt. He's poor fellow. He's just needs some help. You know, you just hear the call and he's trying to obey the call. And could you try and help the poor cunt? And we'll keep an eye. We'll see how things go. If it's not working out, we'll let us know, and we'll get somebody to see if we can get another girl for him. Because she might not be in a place for it in her circumstances, but at least they'd be trying to help the poor cunt, because he's not committing a crime. Like, it's different, say, with a house burglary, and then the police going along and say, oh, could you help this poor cunt to burgle your house? Or you find a better way how he could burgle houses. Well, that's different, you know, because he's committed a crime. He's burgling houses. He's not... you know, then you could give the third strike. Oh, yeah, that's why they put this poor cunt a bloody way in prison for 7 years for kissing a few women. They said, oh, he went past the third strike or something. But the third strike is just for criminals. Well, like that one, burgling houses and that. Give him a third strike, and he has one more chance or something like that. And is it the third one or the fourth one? Do you get past the third one and then it's the fourth one? Or is it the third one? I'm not sure. But, I mean, that's different if you commit crime, you know, if you, you know, something like that, or you beat somebody up or something like that, you know, you know, and steal their car and different things, you know. You know, that's crime, you know, not some poor cunt who's just trying to sort things out with his life and just trying to make things work. He heard the call and just trying to obey the call. But you see, the problem is besides men being dumb, as I say, they're twisted up, because if the judge has got similar problems himself, then he'll probably give a high sentencing. You see, this is probably why he got such a high sentencing. See, there was a there was a taxi driver in Wellington here a couple of years or so ago. He got 9 months in prison for kissing a woman, and I thought that was excessive. 9 months for kissing a passenger woman, and even the twisted molecules, the very bad cases with womanhood. As I say, men are twisted molecules, but women are as well. They got a different kind of twisted molecule. But the very bad cases, even they said that 9 months was too much. The very bad cases, the twisted molecule was woman. And so here's a guy now getting 7 years, so I don't know how they'd feel about that. And he wasn't even a civil servant, because they gave this taxi driver 9 months because he was a civil servant. But this guy in the street was just someone in the street, and he gets 7 years. So the whole thing just doesn't make sense to me. See, you're dealing with this bloody idiots called men. They're dumb and stupid creatures, honestly. They stumble around the bloody world here and make a nuisance of themselves. Now, something else I was going to say there came to mind. Forgotten what it was now. Something else going to add to that. It's gone out of my head. So a better idea would be, as I was getting back to this policeman walking down Cuba Mall and saying to some lady, oh, he sees a lady coming bloody along on her own, and, oh, madam, excuse me, madam, and being a policeman, they'll think they might be in trouble or something, and excuse me, madam, this constable such and such, we got this poor cunt here, Bill's his name, poor fella, he's Australian, he's just a poor cunt, he's just trying to make things work, and people have been bloody complaining about him, he's a few women and kissing him. I wonder if you could look after this poor cunt, and you could kiss him, you could do some kissing to him. I mean, as I say, he'll go half with the power, half with the food and all that. He's prepared to do that. When you could look after the poor cunt, and so if it doesn't work with that, you keep going along, keep them all, and seeing a woman and ask her. Eventually, the police will probably get one person to look after the poor cunt and help him, and because he's not committing a crime, he's just trying to make things work for himself. See, the police should have a body of people like that, not a psychiatrist and that bloody shit about what they do. These bloody idiots called men, they turn upon themselves as sex cannibals. They gave me bloody shock treatment in a bloody psychiatric hospital. I was there. I can't remember. Was I there voluntary or what? One time, oh, that was me too. I had a kissing problem too. I went and kissed the nurse, that's right. Came to Bath Dad. But I think my problem in that case, I went up the hospital in Waiwa, my hometown, and I was looking for her. And I went to the matron and that, and so probably it caused embarrassment, I suppose, but it worked out better in my case because in coming to Wellington, which is from Waiwa, I've had a few things that's been worked out better for me. I haven't got time to go into it. My time is just about up here. It's 32 minutes. 30-something, it's 31 minutes. Oh, my time is up here, so I'll have to close on this video. It's 32 minutes, I think, Brother Look. So I'll have to go. So, yeah, so we're just looking at solving problems in New Zealand. Like this poor cunt, Cuba Moore, kissing a free woman. If you want, he just needs help. The police needs to have some body of people that can help poor cunts like this. And well, women too, they're in trouble too. A lot of women are in trouble too. There's a lot of women that are sexually frustrated. Men are sexually frustrated. I've been trying to get a hold of this problem actually in my previous videos. But as my time's up here, I must close then. Looks to be about 33 minutes by the looks. Might have another couple of minutes. So I just thought I'd bang this video on here in the meantime. So keep dealing with my videos. Look at my videos. This is about 48 videos I've got now on YouTube. And we've got to get moving. So presently, as I say, I want to see the reps from the radio stations, TV stations, and then get the Right Honourable Grant Robinson to personally make an appointment with Chris Hipkins, and then we'll get this virus out and be ready for Delta if it comes, and this RSV, is it? They're working on that one for the children, but this COVID-19 can be wiped out, of course, by orthomolecular medicine, which you can find on my other videos. My videos have got headlines. A friend of mine, he's been helping me, and he went through my videos and he put them in headlines, and so I was pleased with that. So anyway, I must go then. So we'll keep an eye on things and keep my videos, see if we can get them to your friends and increase my videos. And we get this done because we've got a lot for New Zealand yet, a lot to go for New Zealand yet, and it looks like New Zealand's going to have to save the world actually, because the United States has not done their part with orthomolecular medicine for a start. It's in mothballs or whatever. Never heard anything about orthomolecular medicine. All about the COVID-19 on the news or in the newspapers. I've never read one solitary thing on orthomolecular medicine from the States. So what's happened to it, I don't know. It's just gone into mothballs or what. So hopefully we can resurrect it and we can save New Zealand from this virus, and then we can get things moving, and from my other videos, and we can turn New Zealand into a great nation, and then we can save the world. It's a long story, but just if you listen to my videos, you'll catch up on it. Well, I must go. It looks like 35 minutes here now by the looks of something. So I must go. So I'll catch up with you then on another video, maybe next week. Where are we now? About this, the 6th of August, 21 at the moment. So I'll say goodbye for now. So get your friends to see if you can listen to my videos and build up as many as we can, and keep things moving, and so on. So I'll put it close for now. So this is Colin then signing off. So bye for now.